Hello everyone, my name is Zard and welcome back to another video, and today I'll be talking about episode 5 of Lord of the Rings of Power. And I really enjoyed this episode. I think I really enjoyed the start of it, and that just led right into really enjoying the end of it. At the start, we saw the Harfoots again, so they weren't in the last episode, but they were here in this episode. And the part that I really liked about it was Poppy's song. One thing that I absolutely love about Lord of the Rings, as well as the Hobbit films, was the music, the themes for every single place you went to, whether it was Rivendell or Gondor or Lake Town, wherever it was, the music was just great. And then I completely forgot the best one of them all, the Shire theme. And one other part about it was different characters singing, like the hobbits or the dwarves. And that was one of the things that I absolutely loved. And even though this one isn't my favorite of the songs that have been sang in Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth or titles like that, I thought this one was really great, and I really enjoyed it. Because one thing I feel like I've been missing a bit from this series was the music. Even though it was good, I didn't think it was as good as the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit music was. So I really enjoyed hearing that, and the enjoyment of that really just stayed through the entire episode. To see Durin as well as Elrond again, it's my favorite part of the show. It really is. So to see them, especially at the end of the episode, just talking, I really enjoyed that. And I didn't really think we were going to see. I honestly didn't expect them in this episode. I kind of thought that was going to be in the 6th episode, but given that there's only 3 episodes left, it sort of has to be a little quicker about where it's going. So we ended the episode with the Numenorians with Halbrand as well as Galadriel going to Middle-earth, and it seems from the next episode, at least from the trailer or the preview that plays at the end of each episode, they will get to Middle-earth, to the southern lands, where they seem to be Queen Muriel, at least, as well as, I'm assuming, Galadriel and Halbrand, which seem to be on the horses riding against the orcs at the Sutherland Tower, where Erendir, or I forget his name, the elf. I must say that part of the show with him as well as Theo and the Sutherlands and the orcs is probably my least favorite part of the show so far. But I still like it. It's just my least favorite part of the show. Um, I enjoyed this episode. The Harfoots weren't as good as I found them to be in some of the previous episodes. Like, I've really enjoyed them, surprisingly. In the I going into the show, I really didn't love the idea of having Hobbit-like characters being a main focus of the show. I kind of wanted to focus on the other races of Middle-earth, given that the other 6 movies had really focused on hobbits like quite a bit. So I was hoping that we weren't going to see too much of the Harfoots, but I've actually really enjoyed them. In this episode, I didn't enjoy them as much, but I still like them. One other thing is we saw 3 or 4 people, I believe, that were 3 of them with the guy with the white robes and the blonde hair. So I'm not 100% sure who that is. When I saw the trailer, I just assumed was Sauron, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It seemed like they went to see where the stranger landed, so I don't know if in the next 3 episodes they will be searching for the stranger, which brings them to the Harfoots. Um, so there's 3 episodes left in the show, and for next episode, the Numenorians, I guess, will be going to Middle Earth and going to the Southern Lands. So I liked Halbrand in this episode as well as Elrond. I really loved the armor at the end of the episode for the Numenorians. The just normal Numenorian helmets I've really loved, as well as Elendil's helmet, which I had to search up at the end of the episode to see how similar it was to his Battle of the Last Alliance outfit or helmet in the start of the Lord of the Rings, and it's not exactly it's not the same helmet. So I don't know by the end of the series whether or not he'll have that or not. But his helmet really reminded me of the ones used by the surrounding men in that start of the Lord of the Rings. Um, but the armor I thought was great. The helmets, it was all, I really liked that, as well as the ships. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. At the end of the episodes, in the credits, you had Poppy's song playing, which was, I feel like, a big or part of the Lord of the Rings, as well as the Hobbit. I feel like especially the Hobbit, but it was in Lord of the Rings as well, where a few seconds or a minute into the credits, you had a song playing. And in the Hobbit, there were some really great ones, like in the Battle of the Five Armies, you have Billy Boyd's song that I think is really great, and then you have the credits rolling over that, so I thought that was kind of cool to hear Poppy's song in the credits. It really reminded me of those Lord of the Rings as well as Hobbit films. So, talking about Lego, there's not all that much different here. I guess you could, similar to that council scene, which was a Lord of the Rings set later on, I believe, when The Hobbit was coming out. They had the council that had Elrond, I believe, Gimli, as well as Frodo was in that set. There might have been another character. I can't entirely remember, but you had a few of the chairs and a bit of like the Rivendell scenery. So I wouldn't mind seeing that for Linden with Durin, Elrond, Gil-galad, as well as Celebrimbor. I think that would be a really cool set. Of course, that is thinking that Lego would make Lord of the Rings sets, which I'd love to see. I really would. Um, it's one of my favorite themes, and I think the sets were amazing when they came out. Uh, I think Unexpected Journey and the Hobbit films, they're coming up on close to 10 years, right? So it's been a while for Lord of the Rings sets, and given the Rings of Power coming out, I love to see Lego sets for both the Lord of the Rings as well as the Hobbit, and then a few sets for Rings of Power. And given new pieces, new parts that they could make, molds, I'd love to see Lord of the Rings in a updated Lego style, because I think the sets were amazing when they originally came out, and I think they could be even better now. So other sets, I've talked about this before, I'd love to see a Numenorian ship, and especially with the armor that we saw in this episode. So Elendil as well as Isildur in their armors from the end of the episode, as well as Halbrand's armor is really quite nice, and Galadriel's as well. I enjoyed this episode, and I'm excited to see the next 3. So I believe at least it's 8 episodes. I've noticed that each episode seems to be a minute or so more than the previous one. So I think we're looking at 74 or 75 minutes for the next one if it stays on track with that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.